All righty. So we will get started as always. You are going to sit down in your chair. We're going to do our quick little rundown, or I guess I should call it more of a run up because we start from the bottom and we go up. So make sure you're not leaning back in the chair, but you're nice and supported. You are going to check out your feet. Look for that imaginary line, right? One foot is not further in front of the other, but they are nice and level. So believe it or not, that does change the position of your hips and your pelvis when they're off balanced, and then that affects your spine, and even more so when you're standing. So good to get in the habit of it. Press the heels down, lift the toes, spread the toes super wide, and then let the toes come back to the floor very gently, and then press those heels down again. You want to feel those quads engage, and then notice your default, right? So some of you are newer to the class, some of you have been around for a very long time, some of you years. And I talk about the default at the beginning of every single class. And one hope that I have for you is that the first time you noticed your default, you might have noticed you were like way out of balance. And then as we keep doing this week by week, maybe hopefully you're starting to notice that your default is getting closer towards the midline, closer towards neutral. So that is my hope. Awareness is everything, right? So you notice your default, you lean forward or back, and then you just rock your hips a little bit forward and back. And what you're looking for is your neutral. Okay, so where am I kind of more in the very center of my sits bones where I'm not leaning forward, I'm not leaning back, but I'm right in the middle. And then you stick it. Very good. And then press those heels down. And then you're going to lift up. Think of lifting from the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor lifts, kind of like a Kegel. And then you're lifting up the front of the spine all the way up through the chest. And let those shoulders roll back and down. Elbows are going to come back and in. Beautiful. And then the chin is going to come down and back as well. Very nice. Try to maintain this as we close our eyes. Right. So we're going to start with those 3 sighs, the 3 cleansing breaths. And try to maintain this posture, especially this upright portion of the torso as you sigh out through your mouth. After you take those 3 sighs, the breath is just going to come in and out through the nose. It's something I've been bringing up a lot over the past 5 or 6 weeks is the nasal cycle. So as a review, your nasal cycle switches about every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day. It's extremely subtle, so you have to be paying attention to it to notice it. But which nostril is currently taking in a little bit more air as you breathe in? And you just observe that and you feel the breath coming into the body, letting the torso fill up. Maybe pausing for a moment before you exhale and you let the torso relax back down. And just using your breath to keep your mind in this moment. Right? So we know our mind is going to wander off. It is going to happen. So instead of having unrealistic expectations that your mind can never wander off, you can never think when you're trying to focus on the breath, be aware of it, be aware of the distraction, and then bring it back to the breath. Letting it slowly come in and slowly go out at your own pace. And then if you'd like to set an intention, something you'd like to let go of, something you'd like to bring in at this time, you certainly can. And when you're ready, you'll slowly let those eyes flutter back open. Very nice. Awesome. All righty, we're starting with legs today. Okay. So you can keep your hands right here where they are. Try to pull that low belly in. Try to keep your chest as lifted as possible. And on an exhalation, you're just going to switch, lifting your knees, alternating sides. So I'll exhale, I'm going to bring my right knee up. I'll inhale, I'm going to bring it back down. So it's pretty slow because you're not hyperventilating, right? You're breathing pretty slow. You need a little bit of support or a modification. Right? You can always focus on just lifting your heel instead of the whole knee, or you can also give yourself a little support by holding behind the leg as the knee comes up. And if no support is needed, hands are going to stay right here on your thighs. Good. Do one more each side. And then we're going to add on to that. So if this adding on to it is too much, do what you just did. Okay. You're going to exhale. You're going to bring the knee in. You're going to inhale. You're going to straighten the leg as much as you can. You're going to exhale, bring the knee back in, and then you're going to inhale and drop it down to the floor. And then you'll go to the other side. So you'll exhale, bring the knee up. You're going to straighten the leg on an inhale. Exhale, knee bends. Inhale, drop it back down and go back to the other side. So just think every time you exhale, your knee is drawing towards your torso, towards your chest. Okay. That can help you remember. You inhale and you let that leg straighten. You exhale, you bring that knee back in. You inhale and you drop it back down. So you have a nice little flow to the movement and the breath. Right. Of course, knowing you can give yourself a little love, a little support, a little help by grabbing your leg, and you don't have to straighten the leg all the way. Maybe just work on getting those quadricep muscles a little bit stronger. That's what we're working on right now, making our quads stronger. So in my, gosh, which training was it? I want to say it was my yoga therapy training. We called these muscles the muscles of independence. And a large portion of my yoga therapy training was actually taught by a physical therapist, which was wonderful because she gave a lot of great insight on anatomy and muscles and breath and how they all work together. And she said, these quads, as we get older, get really weak and you want to keep them strong. And I know we're still doing the same thing. And I know I'm just, but it's because we're doing this for a while. So I got to talk to you, right? Uh, but yeah, it's important to have these legs nice and strong. Let's do one more each side. Good. I think you guys have learned that when I'm talking and going into a story, and go ahead and finish that, then you know we're going to be doing that for a long time. It's my trick. All right. So you're going to take your hands, put them underneath your chair. And I want you to focus on rolling the shoulders back, pulling the elbows in and back, and lifting the chest. So the reason you're holding onto the chair and you're kind of pulling and pushing is so that you can keep your shoulders dropped for this. And then you're just going to bring your right ear towards the right shoulder, let it drop down towards the chest, bring it over to the left. Right. And this might feel very different. You'll bring it back to the other side. Then when you do it and you're not holding on to the chair, okay? Like my chin does not go down to my chest because I'm very tight in that area. And so if it feels a little different, it's okay. Good. Just nice and slow. Good. Go ahead and go to one more side. And then we're going to meet back with our chin towards our chest. And then inhaling, lifting the head, release that. Good. And then just one at a time, a couple shoulder rolls here. So I know the neck and shoulder stretches are somebody's favorite class. They love it. Yep. And then I also know somebody else has been working on their upper body strength. And so it's good to stretch that out too. So good. All right. So we'll get into some arm stretches here in a minute, but let's do some cat cows and get our torso and our spine moving a bit. So always remember cat cow, one vertebra at a time. So tailbone comes forward, round the low back, the middle back, the upper back. Let that head drop last. And then as you inhale, you reverse it, of course. You lift the tailbone, you arch low back, middle back, upper back. Let the head lift. Good. Your breath, your pace. You want to do that little neck exercise. It's just totally optional. It looks kind of silly, but I do it. When your neck is lifted, it's like you're going to kiss the ceiling, give a little pucker kiss lips, and you'll feel those muscles in your neck get a little tighter. Let's do one more cat, one more cow. And then we'll just meet back in center. No rush, take your time. Good. Awesome. All right. So you're going to reach your arms out to the side. Reach to the fingertips a lot, right? So your fingertips are spread. You're extending out. I always feel a pretty decent stretch kind of in my upper arm area. If I'm really reaching, like your fingers are in finger traps, right? You used to play with when you were little. You're reaching, reaching, reaching. And then relax, let them come down. Good. We're going to do that again. This time we're going to let our arms come back a little further, okay, to your comfort, of course. And you're going to reach, 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 reach back. Good. Make sure you're breathing as you do it. So this is going to stretch the front of the shoulder, a little bit of the chest. And release it all the way back down. Very nice. Reach your right arm up, bend your elbow. See if you can touch your back. Good. If you can touch your left shoulder blade easily, see if you can touch your right shoulder blade. Good. And then you're going to take your left hand. And the one thing I notice people do a lot with this stretch is they just like try to bring their arm back. You actually have to rotate in. So you have to do this like internal rotation of the shoulder, and then you pull it back. And that's when you can really get into the triceps, the heads of the triceps. Right, and breathe. Good. Release that down. Take a few shoulder rolls, both at the same time. Might feel that right arm a little different than the left arm. That blood rushes back. Good. And then we'll switcheroo, go to the other side. So lift your left arm, bend the elbow. If you can easily touch your right shoulder blade, see if you can touch your left. Okay. You take, I have to like take my hand and do it. And I rotate. Right? I rotate my tricep towards my face. Then I pull it back. Good. It just allows you to get more into where that muscle inserts. so you get a better stretch in the belly of the muscle. Good. Good breath, guys. Awesome. A release out of that. Beautiful. Roll those shoulders again. You might feel all that flow coming back into the left arm. Good. All righty. So bring your feet a little bit wider, right? We're still working on that external rotation. Doesn't have to be too wide. It's really just for stability. I'm going to bring mine a little bit wider. And I'm going to reach my arms out to the side. Palms are going to face down. Okay. And I just want you to kind of lean over to the right a little bit. And then you're going to come back up and you're going to just lean over to the left a little bit. Right. And the idea is that you're trying not to lean forward. You're trying not to lean back, but you're trying to stay kind of in that nice plane, right? So you don't have to go very far. Just working on a little bit of that core, making it stronger. Beautiful. Let's do one more each side. Right? As you're holding those arms up, you might feel your shoulders getting stronger too. Very nice. Go ahead and drop it down. We'll do our goddess twist. So fingertips inside of the thigh. Blah. Heel of the hand on top of the thigh. And then exhale. You're going to drop your right shoulder forward and down. And then you bring it back up. And then you exhale and you go to the other side. Very good. So if I had to say, if you have back pain, there were only 2 exercises you had enough time to do in the morning or whenever, it would be cat-cow and this twist, 100%. And if that back pain would stem possibly from tight hips, which a lot of it does, I would add a pigeon pose. Just a few more. Very nice. And bring yourself all the way back to center. Come on up to stand. And grab your water, of course. Take a nice little sip. Checking y'all out. All right. We look like we're ready. So we are not going straight into sun salutations, even though it looks like we are. I'm actually going to have you come into just a forward fold. Then we're going to come into a deeper forward fold and we'll come back up. So of course I'll show it all to you. I think most of you were here, but not all of you. When we talked a lot about the hip crease, right? So that is this space right here. You can literally feel it. And it's where your legs meet your pelvis. All right. So when you're doing your forward folds, I want you to focus on the hip crease, right? So if you see my torso is not, I'm not doing this, right? But my torso is essentially staying pretty neutral and I'm just hinging from the hip crease. That's it right there. So I know we do sun salutations every class. If you can really hone in on that, I think that'll be very helpful for everybody. So you're gonna put your hands on your hip crease. Good. And then you're gonna just kind of like gentle pressure, push it back a little bit. Let your chest come forward. Knees are slightly bent, and then place your hands onto your chair. Good. Notice your tailbone. I talk about this a lot in a down dog, but not so much in forward fold. So notice the tailbone, right? Is your tailbone dropping towards the floor, making your back round? And if it is, can you lift that tailbone up a little bit? Press the heels down a little more, engage the legs more. And then if this feels okay, to go down further, you're going to keep tilting the tailbone up. You're going to keep hinging from that hip crease, right? So tailbone comes up. It's like you're spilling that bowl of water out of your pelvis, and you might come down onto your forearms here. All right, you want to keep your neck happy. So if you're down on your forearms, then you might be looking kind of like in between your feet on the floor. And just notice how that feels. So again, if you notice your tailbone dropping down, I want you to focus on lifting it up. Lift that tailbone up. Your pelvis is that bowl of water, and all that water is spilling out the front of the pelvis right now. If you want to go a little bit further, at this point is when you do allow your back to bend a little bit, but the pelvis stays high. You might take your hands onto the legs of your chair. You might have the ability to take your hands to the floor, right? And when you take that time to move your pelvis in this way, a lot of times you can get further down in the forward fold than you normally do when you keep your pelvis tilted down in that beginning part. So regardless of what position you're in, I want you to take 2 sighs. Just breathe it in through the nose, open it out through the mouth. And then we're going to slowly make our way back. So if you are in that rounded back position, you're going to walk your hands back up the legs of the chair, come back to a forearm position. Try to work on neutralizing your spine, make it nice and straight, tailbone still lifting up. If you're on your forearms, you're going to go ahead and place your palms in the seat of the chair. Nice neutral spine. Take your weight into your hips, bend your knees a little bit, tiny bend. Take your hands back onto that hip crease. Okay. Only thing that's going to move is your unhinging from the hip crease. Come all the way up to stand. You should feel your legs really engage when you do that. Okay. So we're going to go through our sun salutations. I know I kind of slowed it down a little bit and broke it down, but that's like a game changer. So we're going to do slow sun salutations. Inhale, reach. Exhale, take your hands to that hip crease. Forward fold. Just hinge. Place the hands on the seat of the chair. Good. Bend your right knee, lift that left arm, come into your twist. Right, modify if you need to with your hand on the hip. Bring it on back to center. You're going to switch sides. So left knee bends, right arm is going to lift. Nice and slow. If you need to modify, place your hand on that right hip. Good. Bring it back to center. Focus on that hip crease as you walk back to down dog. So really, like nothing really changes in the hip crease area as you walk back to down dog. You just let your torso come forward and down, and your arms a little straighter in front of you. You let the head drop. Right. So in this down dog, same exact action. Tailbones lifting up. Right. Pressing down through the heels. If it seems like a lot, if your back is rounded, bend your knees. Nothing wrong with that. And then focus on lifting the tailbone. And then let the legs straighten. Always remember, it's more important to have a happy spine and down dog than straight legs. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring our right foot forward, warrior one pose. Left heel is going to drop onto the floor. You can lift your arms. If you want to keep your hands down, you can. If you want to keep them on your hips, you can. Right? And have them out to the side. Totally up to you. Yeah, lots of options. I feel like this is the one pose that has the most amount of options to do with your arms. Beautiful. Right? So focus Just noticing that hip crease now with this left leg, it's open, right? So you're getting a stretch in this space. Press your left heel down more, the leg back more, and then you feel that stretch deepen a bit. Good. Take the hands back to the seat. Bring it back to downward facing dog. Focus on that hip crease. And then we'll do our warrior one on the other side. So left leg's coming forward this time. Let that right heel come down. Determine where you want your hands, right? Maybe the arms are tired and you want to put your hands on your hips. Maybe you want to have the support of the chair. It's all good, okay? And then just focusing for a moment on that right hip crease, right? It's now extended, so you're stretching it. Press that right thigh back, the right heel down. Let the chest lift any amount. Good. Lots of alignment today, I know. Breathe through it. Awesome. Take those hands back down. Come into your forward fold. Okay, notice that hip crease, kind of the focus today. If you're taking your chair, lift those toes, put the weight in the heels, drop the hips. Let those arms reach out in front of you, chair pose. Beautiful. Inhale, rise and shine, arms above the head. And exhale, take it to the heart. Good. We will do it again and faster, of course. Inhale, reach. Take your hands to the hip crease. Exhale, forward fold. Place your hands in the seat of the chair. Good. Bend the right knee, lift the left arm, twist. Awesome. Switch sides. Bend the left knee, lift the right arm, twist. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. Walk it on back. Downward facing dog. Focus on that hip crease staying pretty much the same as it was in the forward fold. Good. Bring the right foot forward. Warrior one. You want to make it more challenging. Step your left foot back a little bit more. And so your feet are a little bit further apart from one another. Right? You can lift your arms. You can keep them on your hips. Whatever is good. And breathe. Beautiful. All right, you're going to take your hands onto the seat of the chair. Bring your right foot back just a little bit, maybe about a whole foot distance from where it was. From here, you're going to see if you can do this. I mean, you're going to hold the chair, but see if you can do it without putting like all your weight in your hands. Okay, so lightly holding the chair, a lot of work in this right leg. You're just going to bring that weight forward, lift the left leg, straighten the right leg. Good. Warrior three. Right. Notice if that left hip is super duper high. If it is, right, drop it down a little bit. You can check out your toes, make sure the toes are pointing down. Beautiful. Bring yourself back into that warrior one. So the left foot's going to come down, and then you're just going to lift the arms back up. Good. It's kind of like a shortened stance, warrior one. And then you're going to do that again. You're going to bring your hands to the seat of the chair one last time. You're going to straighten that right leg as you lift the left leg. Good. If you want more, reach your right arm out to the side. Flying airplane. Very nice. Go ahead and take your right hand down if it's not already down. Drop your left foot. Bring that right foot forward just a little bit more where it was earlier. You're going to straighten your right leg. Good. Intense leg stretch. Back to that hip flexor, right? So hinge from the hip. Let the chest come forward. Maybe you come to your forearms. Maybe you come to your forearms and you're like, not today. And you come back up to your hands. That's fine. It's a big stretch in the back of that right leg. Breathe. Notice if your teeth are clenching. It's pretty common. And let the teeth relax, the jaw relax. Good. Go ahead and bend that right knee. Make your way back to down dog. We're just going to do the same thing on the other side, of course. Okay, so down dog is your transition. It can also be your rest if you ever want to just not do what we're doing. You can hang out in down dog. All right, so left leg's coming forward, warrior one pose. If you want to make it a little harder, you bring your right foot back further than it was. And then determine where you want your arms. Right? You have your arms up, maybe out to the side, on your hips, down on your chair if you like. Good. Press through that right leg, lift up through the chest, let those shoulders come back. Beautiful. You guys look awesome. There you go. All righty. So hands are going to come down. You're going to take your left foot and you're just going to step it back like about a foot distance. Okay. And then we're coming into that warrior three option. So weight is in this left leg. Your hands are on the chair, of course, right? But see if you can not rely on the chair quite so much. So you come forward, you straighten that left leg, and you lift the right leg. Right? So it's more the strength of this left leg that lifts the body. And breathe. Right? Notice that that right hip is lifted super duper high. It means your toes are out to the side. Toes need to point straight down. Good. Go ahead and bring that right foot down. Come into a brief warrior one more time here. Lift the arms if you want. It's a shortened warrior one, certainly. Good. And then we come back one more time. Make sure the weight comes onto that left leg and you just straighten the left leg, you lift the right. If you want to do that airplane pose, then the left arm's going to reach out to the side. Right, so it's the opposite arm of whichever leg is lifted. So if your right leg is lifted, the left arm is going to reach. Beautiful. Bring that right leg back down. Take your left foot and bring it forward again, kind of where it was originally. And then you're going to straighten your left leg, right? If you're a locker, don't lock the leg, little micro bend, okay? And then find that hip crease. You might stay right here. You might start to drop down onto the forearms, okay? One thing to keep in mind, one leg's gonna be a lot tighter than the other leg. So if you are different on this side in what your position is, it's fine, it's cool. Let it be different. Beautiful. Go ahead and bend that left knee and bring yourself forward into a forward fold. If you want to take a chair pose, again, by all means, do it. If you don't want to take a chair pose, stay in forward fold. Good either way. Awesome. Everybody inhale, rise and shine. And exhale, take it back to the heart. Love it. All right, you can stay facing whatever you want. I'm just turning this direction so you can see me a little better. You're gonna inhale, lift up. All right, grab your right wrist, standing half moon. Just kind of getting a nice side body stretch, stretch to the low back. Always remember, if it's too much on the chest, bring your hands forward. Good, bring it on up. Exhale, go to the other side. In too much, bring it forward. And bring yourself all the way back up. Release the arms. You are going to clasp your hands behind your back. If grabbing the fingers is enough for you, stay here. If grabbing the fingers is enough for you, stay here. If you are able to bring the palms, the heels of the hands together, then do this. Okay. You're going to roll the shoulders back, press the hands down, and then maybe they start to lift. Okay. So you can have the palms away from each other or the palms together, right? It really just stretches you a little bit more. The palms are together. And letting those arms, those hands drop down, maybe lifting back and up, maybe not. Right? It's a big stretch on the chest, the shoulders. Right? Notice if you're leaning forward, try to keep that weight in the heels. And in this stretch, I'm going to have you take some sighs, and I want you to focus on releasing the space, okay? The neck, the shoulders, as you sigh out. Beautiful. Let that go. Very nice. All righty, you're going to stand. Let's see. To the right of your chair. I recently flipped my camera so I don't have to say the opposite things that I'm doing. And so now I've been in the mindset for like 3-4 years of saying, if this is my right hand, saying it's my left hand. Sometimes I'm having to think about it. So we are on the right side of our chair. You're going to face the chair. You're going to lift your left leg and place it on the seat of the chair. Very good. So look down. A lot of times our right toes are going to point out to the side. You're going to see if you can make it so that the right toes are pointing forward. Okay. Press the right heel down. Really squeeze the leg. Oh, God, my teacher told me one time, make your muscles hug the bones. And that stuck. That definitely stuck. So you can think of your right leg muscles just squeezing in and giving your bones a nice hug. You're going to lift your right arm up. If that's too difficult, reach your right arm out in front of you. Maybe you come to the fingertips, the left hand. Maybe you work on lifting your left arm up. So this is our balance. And you breathe. If your arms are lifted, reach the fingertips up, just like you had those finger traps on, but press down through that right leg and the right foot. Bring in stability to the body. Beautiful. Drop your left hand if it's not already dropped. Drop the right arm and take your left foot out of the chair. Then come on around to the other side, the left side, but you're going to face the chair. Same thing. Right leg is going to come up. You're going to check out your foot that's on the ground, right? One foot probably is sticking out more than the other. All right. So you're going to try to make sure those left toes point forward. Good. Squeeze the muscles, right? Let your leg muscles on the left leg, your standing leg, hug so tightly into the bones. Pressing down through that heel. You can lift your left arm out in front of you. If it feels good to lift it up, go for it. Good. That left leg, super strong. And maybe you come on to your fingertips. On the right hand, maybe that right arm starts to lift up. So again, this is your balance today. If your arms are lifted, even if it's just one, reach up. The finger traps on, reach up and press down through the leg. Right? It's that law of physics. Opposite forces pulling against each other to put stability in the middle. Beautiful. Right arm comes down if it's not already. Left arm comes down, nice and soft. And then release. Love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to do just some hip circles, grab some water, and then lay down. Sound good? So we got this week and one more week. We'll do Viloma 1 and the week of the 20th. I'm not here. And so when we come back, then we'll start Viloma 2. Good. Nice, slow circles. And then, of course, reverse it other direction. Alrighty. And release. So grab some water if you didn't already grab water. And get comfortable. Good. So lay down. Being in a recliner is more important. Rest in your recliner. Being in a bed is better for you. More comfortable. Lay down in your bed. Allow yourself to start to settle. Find stillness. To find a sensation of peace. As your eyes are closed, you can take those 3 sides. Bring your attention to your breathing. And just for a moment here, pay special attention to that nasal cycle and just observe which nostril is currently bringing in a little bit more air. It is so subtle. And one of the things that I think is really neat about doing that is that since it's so subtle, you have to be focused and aware and present to notice it. And it's so neat to notice because, like, we never think about that. Sometimes it changes while we're together, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on where you are. And then you start to count the inhalation and you start to count the exhalation. And you notice if the inhale is longer than the exhale. And if it is, I want you to slow the exhale down so that it's at least the same amount of time as the inhale. And moving into that Paloma 1. So, as a reminder, I know everybody who is here today has done this, but Paloma 1 is when you intentionally create a pause in the inhalation with the benefit of increasing your lung capacity. So, we usually start that pause halfway up. So, you're cutting your breath in half, which would mean that you would want your inhalation to be an even number, something that you could divide into. So if you're cutting it in half right now, right, you're going to find that even number. You're going to inhale halfway up the bottom part of the lungs first. Try to bring all that breath all the way down. And then you pause. And then you breathe into the upper half and you pause. And then the breath comes slowly all the way out. Slowly, evenly, no pauses until the very end. And then you repeat. If that feels easy, if you've been doing this for a while, as in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and it feels comfortable, okay, then you can start to divide that breath into thirds, right? So obviously you want your count of the inhalation to be divisible by 3. So you would inhale, same thing. You want to start from the bottom, right? So you want to inhale that bottom third first. Think of the floating ribs. Think of kind of right around your waist. You're breathing into that space and you pause. And then you breathe into the middle, right? Above that to maybe just above the sternum, or kind of above the sternum because it comes all the way up, but middle third. And you pause. And then you breathe into that top third. Think of the upper chest, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Don't forget about your back body. And you pause. And then same thing on the exhale. It's nice and slow and easy and relaxed as you breathe it out. And then you repeat. So as you're working on that, I'll tell you this just because I know that not for all of us, but for many of us, breathing into that lower part of the body is very difficult. Okay? Our breath typically starts to follow this pattern of least resistance. And for many of us, it's kind of the middle, the upper part of the torso. And I am included in this. It is very challenging to do a full, true diaphragmatic breath, a full belly breath for me. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because this specific breathwork technique, this Paloma 1, is what has allowed me to work on bringing that breath further down and it's staying, right? So if you can breathe all the way down first, that pause is where you can actually kind of feel the breath shifting around in that pause. And as you practice, you're going to find that you can direct that breath into parts of your body that don't typically get this prana, this breath, and it happens in the pause. That's why the pause is so important, right? So you breathe into the bottom, right, and maybe it comes into the chest, right? It's path of least resistance, and you pause, and in that pause, you direct with your mind, and it follows, and you bring it down into the lower part. You let those ribs open and then you take in another breath and you pause and you release slowly and do it again. Right. And it's might not happen in 10 minutes, first or second time that you're doing it. But I promise you that as you practice those intentional pauses, you are going to find that your lungs and your ribs will open up in ways that you never really thought possible. And on top of that, it's really relaxing. So, right, and you just exhale. Don't worry about the exhale. Just let it kind of flow out. So, at this time, you have a few choices. You can keep practicing your Viloma. You can take a nap, just continue to rest, or you can start to return back into this space. If you're choosing to stay, ignore my voice, focus on your breath. If you're coming back, you just start to move around and wiggle in ways that feel good and comfortable. I hope you have a blessed, wonderful, happy day, happy week. You deserve it. You are brave. You are strong. You are smart. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are enough. Believe all of that. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, peaceful intentions. Namaste, my yogi friends. Mwah. I love you all so much. Have a wonderful day.